Always remain silent in these 9 situations. A Stoic perspective. In the philosophy of Stoicism, silence is not merely the absence of speech. It is a profound and deliberate choice that reflects wisdom, self-control, and inner peace. The Stoics believed that words, when used carelessly or impulsively, could lead to unnecessary conflict, misunderstandings, and emotional turmoil. By choosing silence in specific situations, we align ourselves with the principles of reason, virtue, and tranquility. Silence in this context is not a sign of weakness, but a demonstration of strength and mastery over oneself. Below, we explore 9 situations where silence is not only advisable but essential, as seen through the lens of Stoic philosophy. Each situation is examined in detail, with insights from Stoic thinkers and practical applications for modern life. 1. When you are angry. Anger is a destructive emotion that clouds judgment and leads to irrational behavior. The Stoic philosopher Seneca, in his work On Anger, described anger as a temporary madness that consumes reason and distorts reality. When we speak in the heat of anger, we often say things we later regret, causing harm to ourselves and others. Silence, in this situation, serves as a buffer between the impulse to react and the opportunity to respond thoughtfully. By remaining silent, we give ourselves time to cool down, reflect on the situation, and regain control over our emotions. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, advised, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." This means that when someone wrongs us, the most powerful response is not retaliation, but the demonstration of our own virtue. Silence in the face of anger is a testament to our strength and self-discipline. It prevents the escalation of conflict and allows us to act with integrity rather than being driven by fleeting emotions. In this way, silence becomes a tool for cultivating inner peace and maintaining harmonious relationships. 2. When you are tempted to gossip. Gossip is a trivial and often harmful activity that serves no purpose other than to spread rumors and create division. The Stoics emphasize the importance of focusing on what is within our control and avoiding distractions that do not contribute to our growth or the well-being of others. Gossip, by its very nature, is rooted in judgment and negativity, and it often leads to misunderstandings and broken trust. By choosing silence over gossip, we uphold our integrity and avoid participating in behaviors that undermine our character. Epictetus, in his discourses, reminds us, "If you wish to improve, be content to appear clueless or stupid in extraneous matters." This means that we should prioritize our own moral development over the trivial concerns of others. When we refrain from gossiping, we demonstrate self-respect and a commitment to virtuous living. Silence in this context is a mark of wisdom and a reflection of our dedication to the Stoic ideal of focusing on what truly matters. 3. When you are unsure of the truth. In a world filled with misinformation and half-truths, speaking without certainty can lead to confusion and harm. The Stoics valued truth and rationality above all else, and they believed it was better to remain silent than to spread falsehoods. By withholding judgment until we have all the facts, we demonstrate humility and a commitment to truth. This practice not only protects us from making mistakes, but also earns the trust and respect of others. Socrates, a significant influence on Stoicism, famously said, "I know that I am intelligent because I know that I know nothing." This acknowledgement of our own limitations is a cornerstone of Stoic thought. When we are unsure of the truth, silence allows us to seek clarity and understanding rather than rushing to conclusions. It is a sign of intellectual honesty and a recognition that wisdom begins with the admission of ignorance. In this way, silence becomes a pathway to knowledge and self-improvement. 4. When someone else is speaking. Listening is an act of respect and a way to gain insight into the perspectives of others. The Stoics believe that true communication requires patience and attentiveness, not just the desire to be heard. By remaining silent while others speak, we show that we value their thoughts and are open to learning from them. This practice also helps us avoid interrupting or dominating conversations, which can lead to misunderstandings and resentment. Epictetus taught, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This simple yet profound observation highlights the importance of listening as a means of understanding and connecting with others. When we listen more than we speak, we create space for meaningful dialogue and mutual respect. Silence in this context is not passive, but active, as it requires focus, empathy, and a genuine interest in the perspectives of others. 5. When you are praised. While it is natural to feel pleased when receiving praise, the Stoics cautioned against becoming attached to external validation. Excessive pride or self-congratulation can lead to arrogance and a fragile sense of self-worth. By remaining silent in the face of praise, we maintain humility and focus on our internal virtues rather than external approval. This practice helps us stay grounded and reminds us that our true worth lies in our character, not in the opinions of others. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminded himself, "The applause of the crowd is but the clatter of tongues." This means that external recognition is fleeting and ultimately insignificant compared to the pursuit of virtue. When we remain silent in response to praise, we demonstrate that our sense of self is not dependent on the validation of others. It is a reflection of our commitment to living a life of integrity and inner peace. Silence in this situation is a mark of humility and a rejection of vanity. 6. When you are criticized. Criticism, whether justified or not, can be difficult to accept. However, the Stoics believed that our reactions to external events are within our control, even if the events themselves are not. By remaining silent when criticized, we avoid defensiveness and emotional reactivity. This allows us to assess the criticism objectively and determine whether it holds any value for our growth. It also prevents us from escalating conflicts or engaging in unnecessary arguments. Epictetus advised, "If anyone tells you that a certain person speaks ill of you, do not make excuses about what is said, but answer, 'He was ignorant of my other faults, else he would not have mentioned these alone.'" This perspective encourages us to view criticism as an opportunity for self-reflection rather than a personal attack. Silence in the face of criticism is a sign of emotional resilience and a commitment to self-improvement. It allows us to respond with grace and dignity, even in the face of adversity. 7. When you are in the presence of fools. Engaging in arguments with ignorant or irrational individuals is often futile and draining. The Stoics believed that it is better to conserve our energy and focus on what is within our control, rather than wasting time on pointless debates. By remaining silent in the presence of fools, we protect our peace of mind and avoid being drawn into their chaos. This practice allows us to maintain our composure and focus on our own growth and well-being. 8. When you are tempted to boast. Boasting about our achievements or possessions is a sign of insecurity and a desire for external validation. The Stoics emphasize the importance of humility and focusing on internal virtues rather than external accomplishments. By remaining silent instead of boasting, we demonstrate that our worth is not dependent on the opinions of others. This practice helps us cultivate a sense of self-assurance and inner peace, free from the need for recognition or approval. Seneca wisely noted, "The wise man is content with himself." This means that true fulfillment comes from within, not from external achievements or the admiration of others. When we remain silent in the face of the temptation to boast, we show that we are secure in our own worth and do not need to seek validation from others. Silence in this situation reflects a deep sense of self-assurance and a commitment to living a life of humility and integrity. 9. When silence itself is the best response. There are moments when words are inadequate or unnecessary. The Stoics understood that silence can often convey more than speech, especially in situations where emotions run high or words may cause harm. By choosing silence, we create space for reflection, understanding, and resolution. This practice allows us to respond to challenging situations with wisdom and restraint rather than reacting impulsively. Conclusion: the power of silence in Stoic practice. Silence is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, serving as a tool for self-mastery, emotional regulation, and virtuous living. By remaining silent in these 9 situations, we align ourselves with the Stoic ideals of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Silence allows us to observe, reflect, and act with intention rather than reacting impulsively. It is a reminder that our words have power and that we must use them wisely. As the Stoics taught, true freedom lies in our ability to control our thoughts, emotions, and actions. In a world filled with noise and distraction, silence is a refuge and a source of strength. By embracing it, we cultivate a life of purpose, peace, and virtue.